Welcome to Chats at the Gallery. Chats at the Gallery is an interview series where I invite experts to share their expertise in an art gallery because after all, art is a reflection of life. Today I have with me here Mac, founder of Fayday. Hi Mac.
Hi Sok Heng, thank you for having me today.
So what does Fayday do?
We are an M&A firm based in Singapore. We help SME owners to sell their business when they want to retire or to explore a new venture. And sometimes we help them with equity fundraising as well.
SME owners in Singapore must be wondering, how do they actually sell their business?
This is a very common scenario that we see. And this often happens when they are in their 50s to early 70s and when they ask their kids to take over their business and their kids say, hey, Dad, I'm not keen to run your business. So oftentimes they come to us and this is where we will normally assess whether if their business is suitable to be sold at this point of time. And if they are, how much is it worth? This is where we start to look for buyers for them. So this is the rough process.
So what criteria do you look for? Or how do you groom or package the SME that, for it to be suitable for sales?
We don't so-called package it. We assess, number one, if they are suitable to be sold at this point of time, right? We look into the quality of business. Obviously, when people want to buy a business, they will evaluate the sustainability or profitability of the business, the growth rate, and the overall, what I call as the interior makeup of the business, whether the employees, the team structure, the uniqueness of the product. So we look into all these aspects to determine how attractive is it to investors, what is a viable market price this business can be sold for.
How do you run the numbers? That one I'm always very curious. Do you require years of financials or?
I think that having a good sense of numbers, someone that comes from finance or accounting background would be helpful because you need to be able to read the financial statement. Been helpful to have entrepreneurship experience.
So how is Fayday different from other M&A firms in Singapore?
For a lot of the M&A firm that I've seen, they tend to be a one-man shop. They tend to be coming from corporate finance background, or they could be doing multiple things at the same time. For example, they may have their own accounting practice, they may have their own real estate practice, and they are doing M&A on the side. Whereas for us, I think that we just focus on M&A, and this is our core competence. What I would like to always call it as bread and butter. We don't build Fayday to be like individual practice. We build it like a full-service marketplace. This is the direction that we endeavor ourselves to be, and that really separates us apart.
So it's very interesting. For an M&A marketplace, can you share with us what exactly it is?
The idea itself is over the long term to build a place where we can effectively help SME owners to find the right buyer.
You have a very good blog ongoing, I heard.
It's okay. I mean, I see it like painting because every time I write a blog article or newsletter, I see it as a form of self-expression. Right? Sometimes there will be certain point of view that may not be so suitable to be communicated by a corporate worker. But as a business owner, I can write it in a way that I feel this is how I envision the business direction to be like, the overall economy heading direction, the way how a business model should be, the revenue structure. So this is where I can pour my views on it. Not to say that I'm right or wrong, but it's just a form of self-expression.
So it's a sharing that will be useful for other SME owners or people who are interested in running their business.
Hopefully.
So how do we subscribe to this?
So you can go to www.fayday.com. You can go to the website, you can look into that and subscribe for a newsletter.
We have a lot of interest in entrepreneurship. Even the minister is talking about in the AI world, we need to encourage the youth to actually take up entrepreneurship. Reading more and knowing more about how to run a business would be very helpful for aspiring entrepreneurs.
Yes, I agree to a marginal extent. If you want to learn cooking, you can't learn cooking from watching YouTube. Yan can cook, right? It doesn't work this way. You learn cooking by going to the kitchen, heating up the wok and crack an egg. And then you do it repetitively over time, over years, and this is where you build your culinary skill. It's more of a practice. Entrepreneurship is challenging, right? But that's the nature of entrepreneurship. So it's the willingness to take a step forward, face a lot of uncertainty, a lot of sleepless night, trying to figure things out as you go, and learning and building your skill set and your business proposition over time.
So you have met many SME owners in your business. What do you think are their top biggest regret? Do they ever regret setting up a business or running a business?
I guess the answer to that is no, but it's a very contextualized no. A lot of the SME owners that I met, they are in their 50s to 70s. Back in those days where they are starting out their career, which is a absolutely different landscape from today, job opportunities back then are rather limited. For a good number of them, entrepreneurship may be the only way. If you are to ask me, perhaps what might be the regret be? I'm just guessing it. Entrepreneurship, running a business take up so much of your time. Sometimes they might not spend sufficient time with their family. That's what I suspect. Because you have to sacrifice something for something, right? So sometimes you can't have the best of both worlds.
But they will find it a fulfilling process, the journey.
Hopefully lah.
And, how does Fayday help to increase the value of the SME owners when they are selling their business?
We don't have a direct impact on what the business is worth, right? We evaluate the current state of the business, the quality of the business. If it's not ready to be sold, we will let the owner know. So we try to help them to sell it when it's in the right season. It's like you don't buy fruits when it's in the unripe season, right? You buy fruits when it's in the ripe season. When the business is ready, then we help them to sell. We will meet many suitable buyers and unsuitable buyers as well, and we qualify them. And I subscribe to this belief that if you can meet 5 to 10 qualified buyers that show interest in your business, there's a good chance that you can have a competitive offer on your hand. But through the buyers that we recommend to the owner, they have choices in terms of the bids, in terms of the offers from the different buyer, and then this is where they have some negotiation power. Yeah.
From the buyer side, who are usually buyers of businesses? Are they new business owners or existing business owners who wants to expand in the industry?
At least in Singapore landscape, we see parties like search funds, entrepreneurship through acquisition folks, where this is where they decides to move away from climbing the corporate ladder. They wanting to be a SME owner, so this is where they buy a small business, right? Sometimes we deal with smaller PE funds or family office. Sometimes we work with serial entrepreneur who wants to build their portfolio of business itself. Yeah, so a wide range.
Or let's say if you're from the corporate turn, business owner, what are some of the advice you can give? So you have a corporate life and you feel that after I retire, I would like to do something different, and they want to acquire a business. So, but they have never have any entrepreneurship experience. So what advice will you give them when they are acquiring a business?
If they are looking to acquire a business, the first thing I would say is that buying a business, especially if we are talking about small scale business like less than 10 million, right? This will not be a passive asset. It's not like an art piece where you put over there for the next 20 years, then it will grow in value. Most small business, like 95% of the time, you need to actively manage it. So that's the first thing. So if your thinking is that, okay, I can treat this business I just acquired like an art piece or like a property,
for example,
then it's not so much for you, right? But if you are thinking that, you are prepared to roll up your sleeve, do the heavy lifting yourself, understand that there's risk involved, that sometimes things may not turn out to be what you want. Sometimes the uncertainty that you face is even more so than corporate workers today facing retrenchment risk, right? Then perhaps entrepreneurship through acquisition might be suitable for you. So you really need to have the family support. You really need to have the risk appetite and the fact that things may not be what you want. It can be better than what you expect, or it can be worse than what you expect.
Do you think that starting a business from scratch, let's say for example you are a corporate turn entrepreneur, would it be a better option or straight acquisition?
This is just my take, so don't hold me for it. As an individual, if you have less than $500,000 in terms of disposable cash, to acquire a business, if you have less than $500,000, my frank opinion is it's better to start your own business. Unless you have such a sizable network of investors who believe in whatever that you're pitching to them, right? Then it will be a very different case. But if you have less than $500,000, my suggestion for you is that no harm starting your own business. At the end of the day, buying a business, accelerating the entrepreneurship process. So certain things you still need to have the skill. You may be acquiring a profitable business, but if you don't have the skill to run it, things will go sideways.
So at least $500,000 cash.
In my opinion. And I do come across people who buy a very average business, but they did such a fantastic job growing it well.
And what industries do you focus on for M&A? Any particular industry?
Fayday is industry agnostic, meaning we don't focus on any specific industry. There will be certain industries that we proactively avoid simply because I don't really understand some of this industry well. And we tend to focus on transaction value of between 2 million to 50 million for those SMEs that we are representing. I truly believe that a lot of individuals, they have a preference for B2B business because they feel that it's a lot more stable, predictable. Because that's how B2B business run, right? If your customers are genuinely happy with your product or services and the price itself is somewhat competitive, there's a good chance that they will continue sticking on to your service, right?
Stability.
Yeah, so there's this stability. I realized that in the last 2 years, a lot of B2B business owners, they are facing what I call as margin compression. That means on the top line and on the demand side, it has been relatively stable or optimistic. Customers are still buying from them and so on. But on the other side of it, their profit margin has been going down.
We have very high inflationary pressures and it's not just affecting the consumers,
True.
It's also affecting the businesses.
True, that I agree.
So I guess time for the last question. What do investors look for when they acquire an SME?
Most of the time, investors, when they look at a business, there's a few things that shine in their head, right? But number one, sustainability. They need to have that confidence that, okay, this business will continue to do well, even if there's a change of a new owner. Second thing is that they will look into the profit margin itself. Because these days, I think that Singapore presents a very peculiar landscape compared to other markets. For a start, Singapore is a very small country. Consumption is not so high compared to other bigger countries like our neighboring country, right? So in terms of the demand parity, I think it's lower. So this is where I think that for business in Singapore, they have to juggle with a significant lack of demand. At the same time, the inflationary pressure has caused it to eat into the profit itself. So if you can address these two parts, showing that your business is able to generate sales from cross-border, is able to maintain a very good margin, and the business can continue to sustain for the 5 years, I think investors would love it.
That's very good advice for SME owners to look at how you can make your business sustainable and have maintained profit margins. So there are business investors who buy a company in crisis.
There are, I call it a turnaround case. There are some who does it, they have an appetite for it, so it's a quiet preference. But of course, the risk is exponentially higher. My guess is that out of every 4 to 5 of such turnaround case that was being acquired, probably only one is successful. Yeah, so the risk to reward is there. I mean, yeah.
Yes. Even though the acquisition cost may be lower,
Yes.
but your risk is definitely much higher.
But from a buyer standpoint, I think they are aware that they are voluntarily acquiring this business with all the known risks and the unknown risks. Yeah, so Yeah, it's a calculated gamble.
Yeah, entrepreneurship is a form of calculated gamble.
I agree.
But we can make sure the environment is the best of what we can do. Lah.
Yeah, we try our best to position it in a way that can ensure the long-term success.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything on hindsight is a success or a failure. But everything that's ongoing, nobody knows.
Yeah, because sometimes I realize that some mistakes can even turn out to be profitable mistakes. Yeah, and you never know. A lot of SME owners, they tend to be overly doing the operational side of things that they overlook the overall
Planning.
landscape. And they don't look at it from a big picture, right? They don't look at it from 10 years down the road. What are we going to do? They tend to be like spending every day putting off fire, doing the daily activity, but not looking beyond what needs to be looked at. So that's the paradox.
Yes, it's a balance. If
We can only do our best.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks, Mac, for sharing with us on entrepreneurship and M&A acquisition for SMEs in Singapore. Thanks for coming to Chats at the Gallery. Chats at the Gallery is an interview series where I invite experts to share their expertise in an art gallery because after all, art is a reflection of life. Thank you.
Thanks,
Mac.
Hot Ling.
Thank you.